Hey there, hi there, Sagittarius, and welcome to your dream reading for the month of August into September. You're the lucky one. You get both. You get August, end of August into September. So, um, Dreams have probably been really vivid lately. You've probably been experiencing like a lot of messages and downloads coming in. Um, and I think they're all like preparing you for September and what September is going to bring to you. So um, let's take a look here. I'm reading from this Tarot of Dream guidebook. Okay. So I'm going to shuffle up these cards and we're going to get a good read on what is going on right now for you at this time, Sagittarius, in regards to your dreams. All right, so this reading starts with the story spread, okay? And basically, the first card position is called the story, and this card is a microism of the reading as a whole. The remaining cards are the rest of the story and serve to amplify and expand upon themes found in the first card. Position one, the story. This card provides an overview of the chapter of the story that you are presently living. And we have here the Six of Coins. Okay, so that's at your center here. Okay, is the Six of Coins. Um, Now this is a little bit to do with like the balance and the. I feel like there's a lot of energy that keeps pulling you back. Okay. One minute it's everything's good and going great, and then the next minute you're like, oh my god, like why do I have to deal with this? That kind of energy. But the scales really trying to come in and remind you, like we're offering you justice, Libra, the symbol of justice here. Okay, Sagittarius, you can take this, borrow it from a Libra, borrow it from, other aspects in your chart if you want, and hold on to it. It's like a pendant. It's a safety. It's like a safety. I'm getting like safety pins, like, but it's something that holds you like grounded to the reality, like dreams within dreams. I'm getting like Inception type of vibes where everybody in that movie had like a little totem, okay? And your totem is this Libra pendant or something that can bring you justice, because Libras are all about justice, okay? So we have charity, sharing, establishing balance, and unequal relationship in which one person gives and the other takes. Somebody is taking a lot out of you. Oh my God, Sagittarius, they're taking a lot out of you. But I feel like you're starting to see that in your dreams. You're starting to see what they're taking from you. And I don't feel like there's any justifiable, like, it doesn't matter what the excuse is of why they keep taking from you. The fact is that they're taking from you, and you have looked at all the reasons why. I mean, that's why you have so many like coins on the scales here. You're trying to like, okay, what, I get a coin, my person gets a coin. I get a coin, my person gets a coin. But at some point, it's like, wait a second. You need more than just this. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. Basically, we'll just describe the card and hopefully that explains it. A richly dressed young man holds a set of scales in one hand, and with the other hand offers the astrological glyph of Cor Libra, also representing scales. This card means charity or an effort to reestablish fairness and equity in an unfair world. In material endeavors, we often get caught up in the effort to acquire as much as possible. In the Six of Coins, we experience the pleasures of sharing what we have acquired. The evenly balanced scales show us the importance of balance and fairness in material matters. Do we have too much? Does someone else not have enough? The answer to these questions will differ for everyone, but this card encourages us to at least take the questions. On an intrapersonal level, this card might suggest an unequal relationship in which one person always gives and the other person always takes. While the man seems to be handing out equality with one hand, notice that the scales in the other hand are still unbalanced. Okay, yeah, they're still unbalanced because you have to take the totem, the glyph, you have to take in that Libra energy, Sagittarius. So, moon in Taurus, we all have a natural tendency, moon, which can be either encouraged or resisted according to our personalities, to express our maternal, compassionate, and protective instincts in a patient and a tireless way. Uh, yeah, Taurus. Okay, so you're dealing with a patient. They're like, I feel like patience and patient are really key words here. You have like you're trying to be patient with a patient. You know, this person has like they're suffering from different diseases, different illnesses, whatever you want to call it. They're sick, okay? And I'm not talking like I don't think this person isn't like dying of cancer or anything like that. Okay, this person just treats their condition as if they are dying of cancer. And I was just reading this book, Alcoholics Anonymous, and it talks about how people who are alcoholics want to like act as if they do have cancer, and you're trying to be patient with this person, but that's just not the case. It's like that's not the case, okay? Like this person isn't dying of cancer, okay? There is help to get better from, you know, there's very little help when it comes to cancer, okay? It's like a miracle if you survive that. But this person, it's like they want like a miracle, or you need a miracle to help them just get over like their addictions. And alcoholism is a disease, so it is an illness, but the way people who have it act is as if they have cancer when they don't. So there are cures for it. So I feel like this Libra energy is like reminding you there are cures out there for this person. You're being too patient with them. You're being too lenient with them. You're giving them too much like of your energy and your time, and they're just sitting there and not doing anything. And it's like really frustrating. So, yeah, the moon is your intuition, and your intuition is like trust in this Libra energy that wants to bring you justice, okay, Sagittarius, because you've been giving for too long, and now it's time to stop. And then you have the Taurian energy, which is like that loving, nurturing, motherly goddess. You got the mother, the maiden mother crone energy, but you're like in that mothery energy where you're nurturing yourself, you're self-loving, you're self-caring. You know, I got myself some self-love coffee from Starbucks is doing the pumpkin drinks now, so I got the iced pecan crunch oat latte, so I got that. It's so good. See, even little things like that, self-love, self-care, and then the pumpkin cheesecake muffin. Okay, so freaking delicious. Okay, I love it. It's so freaking good. So um uh but yeah, like you're really trying, I feel like, and you're just like, oh, you're getting so much resistance because the thing is, this person needs to want to heal. They need to like balance the scales, and I feel like they're really resisting, so it's really frustrating. Um, Okay, but you have the rest of the story. This is position 2, what you think. This card describes your conscious mind or your ego, what it thinks about the story and what it thinks the story is in the final analysis. Oh, okay. I didn't mean to get like that, like scary, but 10 of Swords. Okay. You have a person here, like a male figure hunched over. He's got like a tattoo on his back. Okay, so Gemini energy. Okay, I feel like you could be dealing with a Gemini who is suffering from, you know, not wanting to be an equal, fair partnership with you. They're really in a lot of pain, but this is a card that's supposed to release that pain. So yeah, at first glance, you're like, oh no, this guy has like swords going into his back, right? But what do these swords represent? Okay. And I feel like you don't want a unhappy ending, you know, to this relationship. You just want to see things play out fairly and balanced. And if that's meant to happen, like that's, you want that to happen. You don't want to have to like not be with this person anymore just because they're going through something. You want them to heal. You want them to get better. but they have to want that too, and they have to want fairness too. And you're meeting resistance here, a lot of it, anguish and pain, but also relief and hysterical overreaction. A man kneels and covers his head in anguish. On his back, he bears a circular tattoo, and 10 swords surround the tattoo, barely piercing the man's skin. In this card, we see the limits of the conscious mind. We can plan, strategize, and rationalize to our hearts or our mind's content, but in the end, true satisfaction is to be found not in pure mentality, but rather in balance of mind, heart, soul, and body. Here, the mind has become so enraptured with its own convulsions that they are actually appear on the man's skin in the form of the circular tattoo, suggestive of a circular reasoning, circular cycle. Okay, this person keeps going in circles. Okay, this Gemini or Gemini energy keeps going in circles. I don't think this is you. I just think this energy is constantly around you, and you're just like, enough with the cycle, enough with the circular mindset. Okay, things don't need to be so circular. Okay, things can be linear for a little bit, like try a different geometric shape here. Okay. um, the 10 of Swords can be seen as the mind in the process of carving a tattoo, or they could also represent the larger mind or higher self at work, pricking the conscious's mind, pretensions, and releasing the negative energy. When I think of that, I think of like that I forget what it is called, but it's like a therapy where you have like the little needles like on your body. I don't know what that's called, acupuncture or something like that. I've never had that before, but that's like what this card reminds. Maybe this person needs some acupuncture. I don't know. Like, I don't know a lot about it, but while the image is a dire one, this can be seen as a positive card. Okay, in a reading, it suggests you have come to the end of the road and now are ready to become aware of opportunities and the ever-present potential for change and growth. The sun in Gemini, and the sun is very masculine, and it's very like, if it's not managed well and it's not used to like create and be passionate and be productive and be loving and nurturing and warm, then it turns into a very harsh, brutal energy of like burning, like sunburn. Nobody wants to get sunburned, but I feel like this energy is like burning your skin. Okay, they're burning you. It's like too much sun is not a good thing, right? Because then you have dehydration, you have sunburn. But a little bit, enough, a balance of it is good, is okay. Here we see the end result of identifying too closely with our ego conscious sun, where what Buddhists refer to as the monkey mind, which chatters endlessly and obsessively, so the true perception is obscured, Gemini. Okay, now the perception that is obscured, okay, here is that you have the ability here to escape the pain or deal with the pain and get away from it, and like it's resolved, it's no more, it's gone, the energy doesn't exist anymore. Thing is, I feel like you keep getting like pulled back into it. And I feel like you're like have this like hopelessness that it's not going to work out. And I feel also like the Sun Gemini energy is also like chattering away constantly about like the same like cycle of things. So what you get, this describes the physical circumstances in which you will find yourself if your story continues on its present path. 5 of Wands. Okay, so I feel like you're being tested here. You're being like you're meeting with conflict here a lot, and you've got Leo energy coming in, so I think there's like a prideful energy, right? Because typically you would want like a Leo energy that's like strong and courageous and brave and supportive, but you're getting a Leo energy that is very like egotistical and maybe narcissistic and maybe only thinks of itself and very prideful and doesn't want to get along with your energy. Okay, it's like that's not a good matchup when someone doesn't want to get along with you. Like, that's not a good team up. That's not a good matchup. So feel like this is a warning reading that's like trying to prep you and prepare you um, for the future. Okay, so you have the Five of Wands, a battle or struggle, teaming up against a common foe, cooperative creative work, people who are isolated from each other yet work toward common or opposing goals. Okay, so you know, this astrology here, Saturn in Leo, the creative and self-confident Leo faces restrictions from the limiting effects of Saturn. Yeah, it's like you're facing some limiting effects, okay, from Saturn here. But you know what? It's like at the same time, it's like you don't want to keep having like there's something here like this energy is like working against you, but it gives you like a brief moment of like team effort or teamwork, just like just a little teeny tidbit of it, and then it goes away again. So um against a fiery dawn sky, four male figures wield wands in the center of the card. Two disembodied hands wield a fifth wand. Yeah, because these all seem like the same person to me. Like they're all fighting against each other, and you're like watching on, like, what the heck? In the center of the card, two disembodied hands wield a fifth wand. Five is typically a number of instability and also a great opportunity. The five men on the card can most easily be seen as fighting with each other. Thus, the most obvious meaning would be a battle or a struggle. Yeah, because that's the most obvious, but like you're trying to go deeper than just the most obvious. But a lot of other people are like not doing that, and that's what's like so frustrating. However, there are other possibilities. The men could all be on the same side. That's what you want, okay, Sagittarius? You want everyone to be on the same side. For example, teaming up against a common foe. Yeah, and I feel like the common foe is the disease or the illness or the addiction, like an intervention for a friend or family member. It's like you want everyone to be on board for this person's healing and be supportive of this person's healing process. But instead, everybody's turning it around on you, blaming you. Um, so in this case, the meaning would be a team of allies under attack. Another possibility is that the men aren't fighting at all, but rather are constructing something together. Cooperative, creative manifestation would then be the emphasis. If you look carefully, the men seem to each inhabit their own world and are not relating to each other. In this interpretation, the card could mean several people who are working alone, isolated from each other, who are nonetheless working toward the same goal or opposing goals, depending on if you see the men as cooperating or fighting. Any of these meanings could apply, depending on the context of a specific reading. Yeah. Okay, so we'll see. Like, you're hopeful. You are hopeful, Sagittarius. I think you have to go through some energy that's like not appealing to you, and I get it. What you feel. This card explores the emotional roots and foundations of your present circumstance. This is where you'll find hidden emotional motivations. Nine of Swords. You're in a dark wood. This woman is in a dark wood. It reminds me a lot of like a cemetery, but she's inside. It looks like she's almost like trying to sleep, but this creepy hand from this tree branch is like a hand trying to claw at her, trying to grab her, trying to control her. Right? And she's definitely looking like more pissed than scared, I would say. Like she's like scared, but she's also like, what the heck? You know what I'm saying? So let's look at that's a Gemini energy again. It's like the 9 and the 10 of Swords are both in Gemini. This is like a woman and a man. Take what resonates. This could be you, Sagittarius, but or someone you know. But I think this is you and your person. I think, and it could be, it's also masculine and feminine energy, yin and yang energy I'm picking up on. It's like, that's the moon and the sun. You have the moon and the sun here. The moon wants you to have justice. It wants you to feel like intuitional blessings, intuitional abundance. It's trying to give you that. It's trying to give you this opportunity to create that for yourself, to rebalance the scales of your relationship, of your life. Okay? So let's take a look here at this Nine of Swords. And you feel scared. I think this person could be like when they're like, when they're angry, when they're not acting appropriately. You're like, what happened to this person? Like, this is like my best friend, this is my family member, this is my partner. What happened to them? And it's the disease, it's the illness that's taken over their mind. And it's the addiction that's taken over their mind. And I feel like addiction has become like a dirty word to like insult people or whatever. But then, I say disease and illness, and I'm not talking about like somebody who is like actually dying of like uh, cancer, or there's some like there's a lot of terrible illnesses out there, and alcoholism is one of them. But the way people who have that addiction act is very different, okay, from someone who is physically ill and dying of, say, cancer, for example. So, use your imagination, but take what resonates. But that's where I'm getting at here. You have a lot of stress. There's a lot of tension. There's a lot of anxiety, all caused by the obsessive tendency of one's own mind. So a woman reclines in a darkened room, which opens out onto an ominous night scene. A tree limb looks almost like threatening claws. The woman obviously has a long, anxious night ahead of her. When this card appears in a reading, it signifies that you are occupying a mental landscape full of tension and anxiety, and it is your own mind that has taken you there. Step by step, thought by thought, your conscious mind has constructed a maze to entrap you, a nightmarish funhouse in which even something as innocent as a tree limb takes on an ominous aspect. The nine swords that are mounted on the column seem to be channeling the negative energy directly at her head, specifically at her eyes, suggesting that how we think about things directly affects how we perceive them, or perhaps the negative energy is being channeled upward and outward from the woman's mind, through the sword and into the scene, graphically demonstrating the concept of self-fulfilling prophecy. If we expect bad things to happen, then they probably will. The obsessive tendencies of the human mind that bring us to the bleak landscape can be avoided if we exercise vigilance. Mars in Gemini, an overactive imagination Gemini becomes preoccupied with conflict and struggle Mars. So, Sagittarius, you are witnessing this Gemini energy, and it's in your dreams, it's in your nightmares, it's stressful, it's anxiety, it's tension. You are seeing these things. This person that is in your life that you want them to heal, you want them to get better, you want them to get their life on track again. You're witnessing and seeing in your dreams and your slash nightmares, because this is a nightmarish type energy. And you're like, why am I having so many bad nightmares? Well, the thing is that you're having these nightmares because this person is stressful to be around. They're full of anxiety, and that's giving you anxiety, and that's making you stressed out, and you don't want to have anything to do with that. You're done, you're tired, you're over it. So there's got to get some. We got to get some creative energy in here to help with all this. Okay, thank God for that. Knight of Swords. Okay, cut through the tension. That's what the swords do. They cut through the tension and they try to come in and save the day and make things all better. Again, there's always going to be something going on that's not helpful and not pleasant, but at least you have this energy of the swords that can come in and cut the tension and release the stress and anxiety. And it's a reminder. So the Knight of Swords, and obviously, not everything's going to be perfect, but at least you're trying, right? At least you're trying to get to a better place than where you're currently at. So Knight of Swords, personality. The Knight of Swords is mounted on a white-winged steed. He represents the soaring flights the mind is capable of. Whether flights of fancy or invention, to accomplish these flights, he must put aside the restrictions and inhibitions that his conscious mind has placed on him, so that he can develop the original and unorthodox patterns necessary for his flight. He must also focus entirely on his goal, without being distracted, for he is defying gravity, that is, the inertia against which we all struggle by sheer force of will. Yeah, so, this Gemini energy isn't going to want to just get better. It's not going to just want to cure itself. That's the problem. It's gonna take some imagination. It's gonna take maybe some flights of fancy, but it's going to have to happen. It's gonna have to develop regardless. So, in order for you to gain your stability back in your life, okay, Sagittarius. So, his ability to focus is shown by the winged helmet, in contrast to the page's hat, which bore only feathers. Of course, such single minded focus means that he won't be the most tolerant or empathetic person you'll ever meet. He may be quick to jump to conclusions or to take offense. Yeah. Knights represent a stage or phase where focus, attention, and determination are necessary in the Knight of Swords. This means a focus of the mind where success depends on your ability to patiently and carefully work out a solution to the problem at hand. Knights are doing. The Knight of Swords suggests that you take action based on your plans and ideas. He also recommends that you let your mind take wing, like the horse on the card, so that you can escape earthbound modes of thinking. In other words, try thinking outside the box. Astrology, 2/3 Aquarius, 1/3 Capricorn. The Knight of Swords narrows and limits Capricorn, his focus so that he can obtain unconventional results in intellectual matters, Aquarius. So, yeah. Okay, and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So, this energy, you're probably dealing with like some Capricorn energy, some Gemini energy. I think Sagittarius, what you're trying to accomplish here is seemingly impossible at this point, but you're not like one to accept resistance. You know, you are one to constantly see these images of change, these images of transformation, to be reminded of them. And that leaves you with endless possibilities. That leaves you like with limitless possibilities. So yeah, you do have to tap into other energies every now and then. And you do have to open your mind to thinking, okay, there isn't just one solution. There isn't just one answer. There's all kinds of answers. There's all kinds of possibilities. That's going to be your key to success here. That's going to be opening your mind to seeing, wow, I don't need to just accept what my subconscious is telling me is like, this is the end. There's nothing going to be good here. There's not going to be any positivity here. No, that's just your mind telling you that because that's what you've been experiencing. You've not been experiencing anything good. You've not been experiencing anything positive. The first card that came out is literally a card of stop. Like, stop doing that to yourself. You need to balance the scales again. You need to take care of yourself. Because this person, if they want to accept help, that's fine. You can be supportive of that. But if not, you have to keep moving forward. You have to take the Libra glyph here and get justice for yourself. Get peace for yourself. Get balance for yourself. Because you're too tied to this energy of this person that doesn't want to get any better. They can say they want to get better. They can say they want to change, but is it actual reality? Only time will tell. In the meantime, while they're trying to figure out if they're actually going to work on getting things better, work on rebalancing the scales with you, working on healing themselves, you take care of yourself regardless. You keep taking care of yourself regardless of what they say, regardless of what they do. Because your life is not going to be revolving in a circular cycle motion around them over and over and over again. It's just not happening. All right, now we have what you deserve. Oh, look, Knight of Cups. You got the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Cups. Yeah, and the Knight of Cups, this can be such a relief when you have that emotional stability, that emotional freedom, that emotional fulfillment, that message of love returning to your emotional cup is now being filled again. It's not being left empty anymore because you're feeding into yourself. You're feeding into this belief that, while yes, you're having these nightmares, while yes, you're dealing with this person that's, really energetically, excuse my French, like effed up here, okay? You're still working on yourself. That's what the Six of Coins wants you to do. It doesn't want you to be like, I know, you have the misery, you have the doubt, you have the pain, you have the anguish, but release yourself from that. Release yourself from that and focus now on your needs. Knight of Cups. Because that's what you deserve. Okay? Time to fill your cup up, okay? So you got the Knight of Cups. While the page floats near the surface, the knight plunges straight into the depths. A figure of fantasy, he rides a seahorse on his shield that bears the cup motif. He is a champion of love. He lives and dies for love. He is in love with love. Many think this knight would. You gotta love yourself, okay, Sagittarius? You gotta love yourself. You gotta start loving yourself. You gotta define any hatred, any negativity, anything coming your way that is not serving you and your greater good. You have to let it go and start loving yourself. Fall in love with yourself, okay? That's what I have. My best advice for you, Sagittarius, is if nobody's in love with you right now, if nobody's falling in love with you right now, and now this makes me want to do like a love reading for you. So you'll get one soon. We'll turn this into a dream/love reading. But the nightmares are reminding you this person isn't capable of loving you the way you need to be loved right now, because they're facing these really. Alcoholism is destructive. It destroys relationships. It destroys families. You cannot let that keep you from taking care of yourself and loving yourself. Okay, that needs to end. All right. So many think this knight would be the perfect lover, but a steady diet of his romanticism would probably become tiresome after a while. Nonetheless, without his energy, the world would be a dull place indeed. So, yes, this person with his energy definitely keeps you on your toes, for sure. But at the same time, it's like this romanticism is like, I feel like you can't rely on other people to like be romantic with you. And I don't think romanticism, it does get tiresome after a while if it's coming from the right place, if it's coming from a genuine place of adoration and affection. But I think you've been so depleted lately of any type of even idea of romanticism that it's like, be romantic with yourself. Watch your favorite rom-coms. I love rom-coms. I'm a huge romantic, okay? I'm like Michael Scott from The Office. Like, you know, but but still, regardless of that though, like, you need to come back into reality sometimes and realize that like other people aren't going to love you the same way if it's just not meant to be. Sometimes things are not meant to be. So I don't know if you're a fan of The Office or not, but Michael had to wait a really long time before he met Holly, his person, his soulmate. And when you meet your person, like sparks are gonna fly. It's gonna be incident, and it's gonna be a journey, but it's gonna feel right, and you're gonna know that. Okay. In the meantime, you can focus on healing yourself and taking care of yourself, because you definitely been through the ringer here. Okay. So, stage of development. The Knight of Cups represents a stage when one's focus is in emotional matters. Care must be taken that the focus does not turn into obsession. Knights are doing. The Knight of Cups recommends that you take emotional matters into your own hands. All too often, we find ourselves paralyzed in relationships, indecisive and incapable of responding. The Knight tells us to dive into the deep end of the pool. Yeah. Because when you're with somebody for a really long time, you get so used to them, and then when you see them take a turn, and they're not the same person you first met. They're not the person you fell in love with. They've changed. Um, you know, that you sometimes you do fall comfortable with that change, even if it's a negative change, and then you are like, I feel like you're coming out of it. I feel like there was a period where things were really good, there's been a period of things really bad, and now you're taking a turn to say, you know what, I don't want to do the bad anymore. So 2/3 Scorpio, 1/3 Libra. The Knight of Cups appreciates the beauty of his beloved Libra, which he worships with an extravagant intensity. Scorpio. I think you deep down inside you know that you're capable of loving yourself. You're capable of taking care of yourself. I think you have hope that your person does come out of this darkness, that they do come out of this nightmarish hell that they're living in and that they keep returning to. And I do think that there is hope for that. But again, I'm gonna have to do a reading for you in a short while. But this is August to September anyway, so let's see how these cards turn out. All right, so we've got here, yeah, and you deserve that too. You deserve to have love and hope in your life, so don't forget that. Position 6, what you tell. This shows how you present yourself to others and how you express yourself. Okay, we have the Four of Swords. Okay, I'm getting like a bit of a tired warrior energy here. Okay, somebody who's like been through it and just needs a time of peace and rest and recovery. So, Moon Aquarius energy. Yes, stars on the suit here, like suns, stars, moons. Okay, so let's take a look at the Four of Swords here. Yeah, I feel like once you cut through the net. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. That's not Four of Swords. 5, 6, 7, 7 of Swords. I don't know my Roman numerals. Okay. I need more coffee. So 7 of Swords. Let's see. 7 of Swords. So. So the Seven of Swords is sneakiness, cleverness, audacity, and dishonesty. Okay, so I don't know why I picked up on the Four of Swords energy. Probably because that's the one where you're like supposed to be resting. But there are two swords, sneaky swords back here. And the sun and star moon, like onesie reminds me of like pajamas. So I think you're tired of the sneakiness. I think you're tired of the cleverness, the audacity, and the dishonesty. The audacity some people have, really, to disturb your peace and your sleep, really. I feel like, especially after all the stress that you've been having lately, Sagittarius, it's really annoying. That you have to be awoken from your slumbers, or these terrible, like, nightmarish dreams and stuff like that. So it's a cat burglar. I'm getting like Catwoman like vibes. Like you want to like you're I don't know why I'm getting that, but a cat burglar is climbing a stone edifice. Burdened by the 5 valuable swords he has just stolen. His hold on the stone is precious. He is taking great risks. So 2 unclaimed swords hover nearby, mocking him. Yeah. These swords are supposedly mocking him, but I don't know. Like, I just feel like you don't have to, like, see that or listen to that. It's like, if you don't want to, like, you can just ignore those that are mocking and laughing at you. The figure on the card is simply being too clever for his own good. He wanted the swords so badly that he developed elaborate strategies to steal them. In truth, he took the easy way out by stealing them as opposed to work and saving for them. By taking the easy path has led him to a more difficult path than he bargained for. He may get away with it, or he may drop the swords or himself in his attempt to escape undiscovered. Yeah. This card suggests sneakiness, cleverness, audacity, and dishonesty. The degree of the dishonesty depends on the context of the reading. It could range all the way from white lie to a major deception. Yeah, I feel like this person is trying to like cover up what they know to be dishonest. Like they keep self-prioritizing, they keep taking, and they're being dishonest about it. They're like saying they're trying to like switch the story to make it sound like you're the one who's like deceiving everybody when it's really you're like I know what is the reality, and and like sometimes you have to break yourself free from someone else's dishonesty to find the truth. Okay. Moon in Aquarius. We all have a tendency, Moon, at times to rebel, Aquarius, against ethical laws by simply appropriating what we want. And that's the problem, despite the fact that deep down we know better. And that's the problem is like, it's like, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Bad Guys. I just watched it last night, but there's 2 characters, the fox and the wolf. And the wolf is always seen as the bad guy and tries to do good and tries to be good. I feel like your person wants to try to do good, wants to be good, but they've been taught that they're like inherently bad because of like the way they were born and the way they were raised and the way they look and appear. They're allowed to be bad or they want to be bad, and that's just like they can get away with it. And then because it's easy. It's the easiest way to deal with things. And the fox is the governor, but also she ends up later showing her other side to herself, where she's like a ninja warrior that has a little bit of bad side too, but she does it for good, kind of like more of a Robin Hood-esque type quality. And I feel like even Catwoman was like a villain, right? But she wasn't as bad as per se like um the Joker or something, so there's a little bit of that going on here. Is like where I feel like you might have to act as an authoritative figure or tell a white lie or something like that every now and then, but it's not the same as being like downright evil. So I feel like you're trying to bring out the goodness in your partner and trying to say, like, you don't have to live that way just because people told you have to live that way. And then, because you know better. And that's what brings us to um, basically. So basically, that brings us to, um, you know, the position here of um, what you need. Okay, and that is what you are, the parts of yourself that you've been determined by the physical circumstances of your upbringing. Like, that's what you've been told your whole life. Is like, you have, because you were raised a certain way, you have to act a certain way. Like, it's okay to have a drink or two, but if you're an alcoholic, it's like you can't even have a drink. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the difference. And I feel like they try to point it at you and say, well, you've had a drink, so why can't I? It's like alcohol affects everyone differently. I feel like that's the thing here. And also, I feel like you need your rest and you need your peace. And yeah, I think you both had like two very like opposing upbringings. Like, you were taught like, drinking alcohol is like forbidden sin or whatever, and your person was taught like drinking is like normal. But the thing is like alcohol affects everybody differently. So if you can have like one beer and like, or one glass of wine and just like go sit down and like watch TV, that the alcohol isn't like affecting you to the point where it's become controlling. It's controlling you. It's controlling your decisions. It's destroying your relationships. Where other people can have like one beer, one glass of wine, and they're completely wasted and they're not thinking rationally and they're hurting the people they love. So it really does affect everybody differently. So, but it's interesting how you were raised to think alcohol was so bad and you can like control yourself, so to speak. And I know that might seem a little bit harsh to other people, but Sagittarius, it's like it does affect everybody differently. And then the other person was raised to think consuming large amounts of alcohol, or even small amounts of alcohol, right? Because they always say it's like a small amount, just a glass of wine, just a beer. They're affected so terribly from it. So that's an interesting. I feel like that's an interesting. Like connection there with that, a little bit of irony there, so let's see here, position 8, what you need. This card shows what you feel you need to be happy on a physical level. In other words, what level of physical comfort or security you need, or what level of risk. And you have here the 3 of Wands. All right, Sun and Aries energy. Okay, a ship is coming in here. I feel like the sun is opening, a portal is opening for you to like draw in the strength here and energy of this ship coming in to like as a symbol, as a sign that an adventure is about to begin for you. A new hope, a new journey is about to begin for you. One where you're no longer tied down by these negative energies and these negative obstacles, and you can see a better tomorrow and a better day ahead on the horizon. So that's interesting. Okay, so 3 of Wands. All right, and this is what you need. You really do need like a new beginning here, a new fresh start to this dynamic. So let's take a look here. So the 3 of Wands, waiting for the first signs of success after having taken initial action, waiting for a return on one's initial investment of energy, replaying one's initial success and thus failing to progress to the next level. Um, yeah, if you have like a small level of success, like then you don't want to go to the next level, but you have to keep going. You have to keep reaching the next level and the next level. It's a continuous journey. A naked man sits on a rocky promontory, watching a fabulous sailing ship that floats among the clouds, shining with an uncanny light after considering possible directions and the Two of Wands. And the three, we have taken initial action given the first shove against the resistance of apathy, and now wait to see what results will occur so that we can plan the next step. The project or endeavor is shown as floating ship with a sun pattern on its sails, thus illustrating the miraculous nature of Wands energy as it heroically struggles against the complacency and inertia which drag us down. The ship could be seen as embarking, symbolizing the project of endeavor set in motion, or alternatively, as returning, so that the man is waiting for a ship to come in, so to speak, or waiting for a return on his initial investment of energy. The man is new because he is sincere and honest in his motivations. Astrology, Sun, and Aries. You take charge of the situation, Sun, by taking direction, action to influence events to your liking, Aries. So you would like it if this person that you're partnered up with gets better and covers, and it's a step-by-step process, and that's what takes you to the next level and the next level and the next level, and it's a continuous journey. It's work in progress, but the thing is that it has to be a work in progress. It has to be happening. Like if it's not happening, then what are you doing? Okay, and I feel like you are hopeful in that happening, and you want to board the ship, and you want to set sail, and you want to go off and see the world and explore and have your adventures. Um, but that's not going to happen unless you actually get on board. It's like a metaphor for like you need to get on board with your life. You need to get on with your life. You can't be stuck in this endless cycle anymore, and you have to break free from it. And hopefully your person wants to do that too, but if they don't want to do that, then you have to get on board the ship, and you have to set sail, and you have to go live your life and have your adventures, and embrace the new day, embrace the new horizons. Okay, so and you know that deep down inside, you know that, and like of course, if you have a special person in your life that you want to go on these adventures with, and that you want to board the ship with, they're gonna have to make initiative. They're gonna have to make a move. They're gonna have to take the relationship to the next level and become more serious. Um, and that's really honestly what you need. And there is a level of risk in that, because the risk is that they might not want to go on the ship with you. They might not want to get better. And that's a really scary thought and idea, because it's like you're losing a part of yourself, you probably feel like, and you're losing your other half, or you're losing your, partner, your best friend. But if they don't want to get better, and you guys are just stuck in like an endless cycle of like negativity and hurt and sadness and darkness, then that's not a healthy way to live. And that's not going to be the way that you're going to spend the rest of your life, Sagittarius, either. And I think deep down inside you know that, and that's why you're being handed the glyph, the Libra sign, the sigil. I'm getting like a sigil or something, but like it's a symbol of you need this, you need the justice, you need the peace in your life, you need the balance, you need the scales to be balanced. If that's not going to happen, then you're going to move on and get on a ship and go sail off into the sunsets on your own, Like, you're not waiting around much longer. I feel like you've already been waiting. That's why things have gone so dark, is because you've been waiting for so long that now it just feels hopeless. But there is hope, okay? What you expect. This shows what your conscious mind or ego expects for the future. Oh my God, Sagittarius, 10 of Cups. Yes, look at this. A happy family, a beautiful family, a husband, wife, their children. Okay, take it as it resonates. The sun is lighting up, this new door is opening, this just this happy ending, this happily ever after, this new beginning, this new future. The dog represents loyalty, trust, companion. The cups are here, the mermaids are, some are like they look like they're holding up the cups. Okay. So it's music to your ears. Sirens usually have been, the ones that bring, they judge men, because the men would like hunt them. This is like the old mythology. The men on the ships would hunt the sirens, hunt the mermaids, and sirens would like sing a song to lure the men to their deaths, right? And I feel like what this is saying is like, you don't want that, right? You want these cups filled. You want, the happy family, the positive family, the love, the light coming through here. I mean, this is the perfect, like, answer for your question, Sagittarius, is will the nightmares end? Will this destruction that's breaking down my family and destroying it at its core, at its foundation, at its heart, it's destroying the light, will it end? And this is your sign that it will end. Okay, a new day, a new tomorrow, a bright, sunny, cheerful day, beautiful flowers blossoming everywhere. Okay, so um, that's a really positive confirmation to get here. So you have emotional fulfillment to its utmost when you have what you're longing for is a happy family and a happy life full of love and light. So let's take a look here at this Ten of Cups card. Um, Peak emotional fulfillment, a happy family life, whether a biological family or simply a group of friends, happy family occasions or interactions, pleasant home activities, having too high expectations, wishful thinking. So I think that's the thing is like, you're like, is this wishful thinking? Am I having too high of expectations? I don't think you're having too high expectations. I think that you're not giving up, and you're going to know when it's time to give up and when it's time to keep the positivity and the light. And like, there's something here about, I feel like you're changing things for the better. Because you're standing up for yourself and you're demanding justice for yourself and you're demanding balance. And it's not even so like demanding, it's more just like, this is the energy now. You're either on board, the ship, or metaphorically, ahoy, captain, right? Like, or you're off the ship and you're not coming on board. And that is like maybe a hard pill to swallow, or that's maybe the sad truth to some situations, but you know, it can be friends. It doesn't have to just be biological. I think for you, Sagittarius, it probably is more biological than not. But I mean, again, take what resonates. But I'm getting a strong sense that this is a biological family that has endured a lot. And you want that negativity and that pain to no longer control the happiness of this family. I feel like that's your ultimate dream and goal for your life. 10 cups line a path made of flagstones. They led to a door which is swinging open. The image of a joyous family glows in the doorway, filling the card with a warm light. A friendly dog greets us on the path. In this card, we find the experience of peak emotional fulfillment, a happy family life. Of course, it need not be biological family. Whenever we form lasting bonds of friendship and love with others, we forge another link in the daisy chain of human solidarity, stretching from the distant past to the distant future. No matter what wars or prejudices may divide us, in the end we are all human. We are all one family. Thus, forming emotional ties to others is, in a way, a sacred act. In a reading, this card could simply mean happy family occasions or interactions or pleasant occurrences related to the home. The image on the card can also be seen as somewhat idolized or one. Perhaps you're setting your expectations too high or indulging in wishful thinking. Family life can be messy as well as joyous, and you will probably be better off if you have a realistic expectations rather than assuming everything will always be rosy. Mars and Pisces. The drive to establish one's domain or territory, Mars, is tempered by compassion and an awareness of a higher reality, Pisces, underlining everyday family events. Yeah. So, this is, it's your territory, it's your life, it's your mind, it's your dreams, it's everything that is you, is tying together to form or try to form this light back in your life again. And, if it's not going to come from biological family members that, are struggling to, work together as a team, then maybe it is going to come from friends. But at the same time, it's like you still want your family to be happy and you want to see them succeed and you want to see them be healthy and feel loved and protected and safe. So I think that's a really good wait card to leave this reading off is that you're still, at the end of the day, you still have hope, and you're still going to keep working towards that 10 of Cups energy. And I feel like, you're not going to let the nightmares and the scary thoughts take over, everything you do, because that, that wouldn't be the healthiest way to go. So you're seeing the new horizons, you're seeing the light shining through, and I feel like, Sagittarius, you're leading your life in a more positive direction because of it, even when it starts out kind of rough in the beginning. All right, so that's my message for you, Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Love and light always. I look forward to doing your love reading in the coming weeks. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, have a wonderful end of August and new September. Positivity all around. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. I much appreciate it. Love and light always. Till next time. Bye.